Like all hunters, Hastings... Jap appears to be snowed under. Jap appears to already be overloaded with work. My news is not going to improve matters. Bonjour, Chief Inspector. I am afraid we have some bad news. I have just...
Are you complete?
I have compared the two letters. There is no doubt about it.
I suppose you think he's going...
I fear so.
Good God, Poirot.
I suspect that the name of the second victim will start with B.
What on earth makes you think such a thing?
I thought about it when I saw the name Asher clearly written over the shop door of the unfortunate woman who was murdered in Andover last month. When I received the letter mentioning Bexhill, I deduced that the victim...
So, it's an alphabet fiend.
Bien, we should...
You have a few days to prepare yourself.
Thank you for coming, my friend.
Poirot?
Chief Inspector Jap, your call does not bode well.
Indeed, we have just found the body of a young woman on the beach in Bexhill. An ABC was placed on the body.
We'll be there as soon as possible.
Bexhill is a delightful town. It would be nice to come back and visit.
I do not entirely agree. Walking at the beach damages my shoes, and it hurts my knee.
So the years have not spared you, my friend. It's the same for all of us.
That is exactly what I said to myself when I saw you back from your travels.
Poirot!
Do not be offended, Hastings. I can see Jap waiting for us. And from his face, I would say that things are not looking good.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Chief Inspector?
I fear your admirer has struck again, Poirot. We haven't yet identified the victim. Death occurred last night between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. And we found an AB...
Was she pretty?
Come on, Poirot, that's rather out of place. It has no bearing on the murder.
Are you certain? For women, it is often the most important thing.
The body hasn't been moved. You can see for yourself.
Has the press been informed?
Not yet, but I'm planning to. I haven't yet informed them about the...
Nobody has reported a young woman missing?
Not for the moment.
No witnesses, I imagine.
It's early days, Chief Inspector.
I hope...
The young woman wasn't wearing shoes or a coat, and was not... Either the murderer stole her belongings, or... This key is too small to be one for a house. Without a doubt, it is for a padlock. These marks have been left by a rope or a braided cloth. A braided silk belt. It may have belonged to the victim. The guide is open as the page for the Bexhill train times. She was a great beauty. Strange that chap didn't notice it. This key is too small to be one. Apart from the marks on her neck, there are no signs of... Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The poor child must have been strangled with his braided belt. Unfortunately, in view of the fabric, it is unlikely that we will find any prints. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The medical officer should confirm that the victim was strangled with her own belt.
That's what I thought. She shows the usual signs of strangulation.
With a little luck, we'll find prints this time.
You are too optimistic, Hastings. Our killer is far too meticulous for that. There is no doubt about it. Bexhill has one of the most beautiful beaches in the area. This hut is locked. This hut is locked. A dual locking padlock. I need to find the code and then insert a key. Firstly, I have to remove the padlock. Firstly, I have to enter the padlock's code. Firstly, I have to enter the The number is upside down. This is definitely at number... Firstly, I have to enter the padlock's code. Firstly, I have to enter the... The purse is full. Yet again, we can... Here is the watch. A top-brand lipstick. She liked to take care of her appearance. As well as a photo of the victim with some company. It could be useful to me. Betty's first day at work. Mom is very proud of you. Elizabeth Barnard, 7 August 1931. So, the young lady did have a name starting with B, and she worked as a ginger cat, an establishment that must be slightly further along the beach. It definitely was here that the victim left her belongings.
Jap has gone to the police. The victim has been identified and her family had reported her disappearance. She was called?
Elizabeth Barnard, mainly Betty. She worked as a ginger cat at the cafe slightly further along the beach.
But Poirot, how on earth?
Never mind. Do you have her address?
Yes, she lived with her parents on the street leading to the beach, number 22. Shall we go?
You are far too impatient, Hastings. Let the poor people take in the news first. Let us go and visit the cafe where Betty worked.
Where are you going? I thought the cafe was on the beach.
You are quite right, Hastings. I am delighted to see you are following matters closely.
Where are you...
Could it be the same buildings as on the victim's photo? This is definitely where the photo I found in the hut was taken. Hastings appears to be ill at ease.
I'll be with you in a minute, gentlemen.
Something tells me that she's the owner of the ginger cat. This woman must be the owner of the ginger cat. It looks...
How can I help you?
A hot chocolate and a tea for my friend, please.
I'll bring it straight away.
I need to know the time range during which Betty was working on her own. Where is Betty? Betty worked from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Would she have been alone at any time during her service? Betty worked from 11 a.m. These are the different waiting staffs. This bill may have been written by Betty. There is probably another one. Betty wasn't serving on her own at these two times. Let's keep... Zbil, mais... Most probably a family. No, something's not right. Betty was alone at just... Most probably a single... This bill may have been written by Betty. No, something's not right. Betty was alone at just one of these 2 times. This bill may have been written. Betty wasn't serving on her own at these 2 times. Maybe I should consult the register again. Interesting. Betty was alone between 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Who did she serve? This bill may have... Most probably a single man, a whiskey lover. Maybe the murderer? No, something's not right. This bill may have been written. Most probably a family. No, something's not right. Betty was alone at just one of these 2 times. Most probably a family. This bill may have been written. Most probably a single man, a whiskey lover. Maybe the murderer? Betty served a family and a man on his own, a whiskey drinker. Maybe the murderer. This information will help me to progress.
What? Gentlemen, what are you doing?
We are searching for clues, mademoiselle. My name is Hercule Poirot. I am a detective, and this is Captain Hastings. Does Betty Barnard work here?
That is correct. She should have been here a while ago. Punctuality is the first rule of politeness.
I fear that Miss Barnard will not be coming today. She has just been found, dead, on the beach a few 100 meters from the cafe.
How awful.
She appears to have been...
This is most distressing.
What can you tell us about Miss Barnard?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Miss Barnard was my employee. Her private life was none of my business.
You did know at least that she had a young man.
Indeed.
Do you think he could have harmed her?
I repeat, I wasn't on close terms with Betty, and even less so with her fiancé. How do you expect me to answer such a question? Now, please excuse me, I have work to do.
The customer who ordered the whiskey might provide us more information. He may have been the last one to see Betty alive.
It is an interesting idea, Hastings.
I don't think so. Our regular guests tend to order tea. At this time of the year, there are a lot of tourists about you never see again.
That's what I thought. Time to visit Betty's home.
I have nothing to add on the subject of Miss...
What a pity. I don't have any change to make it work. This is definitely where the photo I found in the hut was taken. How do you do, mademoiselle? My name is Hercule Poirot.
I know you. You're that detective we hear all...
I do not know if that is a compliment, but I will take it as well. You are Betty's sister, I believe.
Yes.
Can we come in?
Please do. My parents are at the police station. I doubt they'll be up to speaking to you later.
Do not worry, we will not bother them.
Did you know your sister's plans for yesterday?
No. I arrived by train this morning. My parents called me in a... She went out last...
What was your last conversation?
Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother brought her a pair. The very day it happened. She was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
The Barnard appeared to make music a priority in their budget. Their home is modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers. It would not be polite to visit the house without being... This gramophone is magnificent. It is a one-off with... Hastings always pays more attention when young women are being questioned. What is she feeling at the moment?
Mr. Poirot, I don't like being stared at. If you have something to say, would you please say it to me?
Betty's older sister is not just sad, she is angry. Your sister had a fiancé, I believe?
Yes, he's called Donald Fraser. A very nice man.
A hot-headed man by all accounts.
You are quite wrong, Detective. Don is serious and reliable, and has a good position at Court and Brunskill estate agents. He would have made Betty a very good husband. Oh, excuse me, I have to answer that.
But of course.
Betty's room is opposite the stairs on the first floor. Feel free to take a look if you think it might be useful.
This young woman is far too clever not to have anything else for us.
Do you think she's hiding something?
That is what I'm trying to find out. I did not say anything of the sort, but young women always ruin your judgment, Hastings. Who knows, maybe Megan was jealous of her attractive young sister.
I see. She may have had her sights on... Or maybe she was in love with Donald Fraser.
While I try and get Miss Barnard to talk, I would like you to try and bring him to the Ginger Cat. I would like to talk with him before the Chief Inspector finds him. A box of new stockings. A box of new stockings. It looks like Betty was also a music lover, the same as her family. Without a doubt, Betty used to sing. Looking at all the clothes she took out, Betty must have had a problem deciding what to wear. Maybe she... Without a doubt, Betty used to sing. Something on this clock bothers. This wooden panel is blocked. I can't open. This metal disc is stuck. This metal disc is stuck. What a strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands. The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels. The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels. This decoration appears to be firmly fastened. This decoration appears... This decoration appears to... This leg is not well attached. This leg is not well attached. This leg is not well attached. This decoration appears strange. A sheet of... This decoration appears... Could this... Good. It should be possible to open the wooden panel. The cogs are blocked by these wooden panels. This wooden panel is blocked. I can't hope. Look, a key. This could be useful. This code probably has something to do with the mechanism above the clock. I definitely need an object to make this cog. The central cog is blocked. Strange. A sheet. There, that's better. The central cog is... This metal disc. This metal disc. This decoration appears. I definitely need an object to make these cogs turn. Ah, something clicked on the front of the clock. A new lock has appeared. This could be useful. Betty, I enjoyed a wonderful evening in your company, and I hope that we will see each other again. My dearest Betty, I know that your art is already spoken for, but you are the most beautiful dancer I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I am impatient to see you again. Adrian. A record sleeve with an handwritten title. It looks like Betty has a very busy life. Betty liked luxury and going out, and being as pretty as she was, she probably did not have any problem getting herself invited. Medicine to prevent voice loss. This small key should be useful to me. Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding? This looks like solfège. This looks like solfège. This looks like solfège. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. There is bound to be a clue somewhere. There is bound to be a clue somewhere. I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered. This looks like solfège. There is probably a link with what I saw in the drawer. That doesn't work. I must... It looks like something goes in here. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. I cannot open it. It looks like the mechanism. That doesn't work. I cannot open it. This looks like I just have to put the record on the gramophone.
Oh, Donald! We're in the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should rest your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true.
Yes.
It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone. She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner? They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous.
I hear a note of envy in it. Donald appeared to be very much in love with your sister.
Yes, he was mad about her.
Mad, you say? Being madly in love can often be destructive, and Mr. Fraser was known for being jealous, I believe.
No more than average. Men are always slightly possessive, especially when they are with a pretty woman.
You are a poor liar, Mademoiselle Bernard.
Excuse me, Mr. Poirot, but I do not see why you are interested in our humble little crime.
It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man, slightly reserved too, and as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago, but they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day One day,
Well?
he'd commit murder.
So you were afraid that he would become our main suspect. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Exactly. Had you not told me about the case, I would never have dared to tell you about this little matter. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Barnard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Au revoir.
And
let us now try and get our brains. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
He's a big chap.
Bien. Megan Barnard said he is a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case.
don't want this young man here. Be quick and do what you must.
How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You Hercule Poirot. Mr. Hastings said you wanted to speak to me.
Yes. I know that it may not be at the right time, but I would like to ask you a few questions. This man looks suspicious. Donald Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone. Tell me that it's a mistake. That Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
If she had listened to you, she would still be alive. Should I take that to be a confession?
With that sort of thinking, you must send a lot of innocent men to prison. Under different circumstances, I might even find you amusing, sir.
It's no time for amusement, Mr. Fraser. It is time to find your fiance's killer. Did you know what her plans were for the evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
And you believed her?
And why not, sir? She was my fiancée.
That did not stop her from lying to you before. Betty was not a bad girl, but she did like to take advantage of her success with men.
How dare you sully her memory?
I am not interested in memories of her, Mr. Fraser. I am looking for a killer, and I need you to be my closest ally. That is, unless you have something to hide.
Of course I don't.
Très bien. So, what were we saying? Where were you yesterday evening?
I looked everywhere for her, but in vain. When she said she was going to have dinner with her sister on a weekday, I thought it was strange. I tried not to think about it, but I was like a lion in a cage. I was convinced she was lying. So I went round all the restaurants in the town. When I didn't find her, I went to the next town. But nothing. I must have got home about midnight or 1 o'clock.
Did anybody see you?
I don't think so. I didn't talk to anybody. I was so furious.
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot. I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, he's all yours, Chief Inspector. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked...
It is to...
I can't imagine how the murderer wasn't seen, though. Surely she must have struggled.
Let us try and imagine the scene. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5.
Miss Betty enters the hut.
No. It wasn't hut number 5. Let us think again, mon cher. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6. Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a coat. They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser.
General, what are you...
Return to London, mon cher Hastings. Right, back to London. There is nothing more for us to do here.
Jap has decided to reveal details to the press. The alphabet murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling. Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game. He will...
By the way, Hastings, what day is it?
Well, looking at the calendar, it's the 30th. No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately. In his haste, Hastings tore the envelope. Pour Mr. Poirot. Hello, chap. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when?
In Churston. Today.
Today?
I'll check the train times. It is not a good time. Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. In this issue, Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled. Pour Mr. Poirot. Bexhill-on-Sea, Sussex, population 24,703. Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag. I lock my revolver in this drawer. I've not... Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry. We have to get to Churston before the murder.
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay. I'll let you pack them.
All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess. Voila! It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning, after the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Very good question. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two. Although I have very little doubt about what we will find. Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one. Let us examine this more. Certain characters in the the W is... Right, let us compare. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Yes, this... Right, let us... Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other Yes, the... Right, let us compare. That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address. All the same, the post office...
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard. Poirot, the
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train. The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friend. I will come soon. An ABC guide. The murderer's customary signature. Apart from the wound to the throat, the body is untouched. No cuts. Apart from the wound to the throat, Sir Carmichael's throat was cut. It's a clean incision, a professional murder. The gravel on the path has been sprayed with blood that covers a conical-shaped area. Jap has emptied the victim's pockets and has laid out their contents on this piece of wax. It is pointless. An oriental dragon. A signet ring, very probable. Nothing appears to be missing from this wallet. The body is just in front of a bush. The body is just in front. This place is very calming. The site is exceptional. It is easy to imagine that Sir Carmichael used to enjoy stopping here every evening. I'm not going to leave now. I still have some... I'm not going to leave now. The vegetation behind the bush has... Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Sir Carmichael had his back to the bush when the... Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Have you finished, Poirot?
Chief Inspector, many questions remain unanswered, but I am certain of one thing. The killer has prepared his crime very carefully.
Quite right. He must have known Sir Carmichael's movements well to plan such an attack.
The murderer struck with terrible savagery.
Yes, blood flowed. It's the first time he's attacked a man. He armed himself accordingly.
Have you spoken to the victim's family, Chief Inspector?
I've spoken to the brother, Franklin Clark. I didn't...
To be honest, this inspector seems rather... rather obtuse. Ah, here he is. Please. Mr. Poirot, this is my...
Please.
It is now the right time. There is something elegant about her. She has good taste, except perhaps in her choice of jewelry.
Please excuse me, I have to take care of Lady Clark.